Hey, good morning. This is Becky Williams. I'm the founder of Full on Purpose. Our motto is to love people well. We help you to evaluate what is on your plate to help to increase the value of the relationships that you have, as well as how you think and how you speak, increasing the quality of that. So today I'm going to be talking about eating right for your type. Has anybody heard of this? I have grown up actually knowing about this, but I never really put much thought into it until recently. So for the whole month of August, I'm actually going to be talking about this idea of eating right for your blood type. I know it may sound way out there, but just stick with me, okay? I've been doing a little bit of research, and the reason that I started to do this research is because recently, I know that I'm always looking for better ways to eat, healthier ways to eat, that type of thing. So Ken and he actually came up with the idea of going vegan. Vegan basically means that you don't consume any animal products or so no meats and nothing that comes from an animal. So we basically did this. We kept meat into our diet for, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. We pretty much eliminated all dairy basically because we noticed that it really upsets our bodies and causes inflammation, that kind of stuff. We did recognize that, especially with our kids too. But we also took away, we'd still used honey. So technically we weren't vegan because vegans don't use honey. But we still did some fish and things like that. But for the most part, it was plant-based, fruit-based, beans, grains, that kind of thing. And we started we did this, I guess, about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago. Well, I've been feeling really good. I've been feeling a little bit tired, probably just because I'm staying up so late and getting up so early. But for the most part, my body has felt better. The inflammation in my body has gone down. I don't feel like my clothes are quite as tight. I've lost a couple pounds, maybe 4 or 5 pounds. I know it's not a tremendous amount, but really not changing that much, just eliminating a few things from my diet has helped me to feel really good. I've also noticed a change in our kids, somewhat, in how they're feeling. We still let them have other things. Like if we go to restaurants, they could pick a hamburger if they wanted to, even though we weren't going to do that necessarily. But the one thing that stuck out to me is the fact that Ken was not feeling quite as good as me. He was hungry within an hour. Even if I made, I could do a serving of 8 for a recipe and I feel full, the kids feel full, and Ken's like, oh, I'm still hungry. Of course, he works 10-hour days and he works, like 56 hours a week. So I'm like packing as much food as I can, and we're spending a lot of money on groceries and stuff because I'm trying to get him full where it's not happening. So it got me looking and researching and doing my best to understand why is it that I feel really good, but he doesn't. We're both working a lot of hours. We're both putting a lot. Now his job's more physical, obviously, but still, I just felt like there was maybe some kind of disconnect there. So I remembered the Eat Right for Your Type diet. So this is actually my dad's book, Eat Right for Your Type. And there's a cookbook also that goes with it. But for the next 4 weeks, so not counting today, for the next 4 Wednesdays, I'm going to actually be talking about the different blood types. Now, this book covers a lot of things, not just food. It also covers stressors and things like that. Now, with everything that I tell you, every single Word Up Wednesday, I've had people challenge me in the past. People send ugly stuff in the past. Just all kinds of things. Please do your own research. I'm not telling you to go out and throw everything out of your pantry and start over. I did an informational video one time about sugars. Okay, if you didn't go out and change all your sugars, that's fine. I just want to give you the information for you to take it and say, okay, yes, I like what she said about this. I don't really think that part's right, or whatever. Like my mom always tells me, if somebody gives you advice, you keep the stuff that you want and you spit out the rest. Okay. So if this sounds crazy to you and it's not something you want to learn about, I'll see you in September. No problem. Check out some of my essential episodes about essential oils. Maybe you'll enjoy that more. But I really wanted to dive into this because I don't like diets. I don't like this yo-yo of losing weight, gaining weight. And I've done this for years, 20 pounds on, 20 pounds off. And I would like to be able to just have a plan that I can do that works for my entire family, even if it means that we're eating different things. Because if I create something, let's say with meat, that I'm not going to eat because I'm still primarily vegan, if I do that, then I can just eat everything else besides the meat. Okay. So there is a way that you can feed your entire family, even if people are different blood types. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. The last episode that I do, I'll probably touch on some of the things that I've done and maybe some of the menus that I've done for the different blood types in our family. And I'll share a little bit about that in a little bit. I don't agree with everything in this book. The author is Peter Diadamo, and it looks like Catherine Whitney also did a little bit of information on this particular book that I'm reading. He talks about evolution and how all the blood types evolved. I don't believe in evolution. I'm sure most of you already figured that out, but so I don't believe that part of it, and I don't agree with that part of it. However, I have found some truth in the things that he's saying, so I'm going to share just a few things. First of all, you know that your blood is important, right? It keeps you alive. Most of us, when we think of blood, we think, oh, when I go to the hospital, get a transfusion, if I need to give blood, add a blood drive, something like that. That's typically when we think about blood, but we don't really think about it doing anything else. But if you think about our ancestors and things ancient, from way back ancient days, they did, blood packs. They had talked about blood brothers. So over the years, blood has meant more than just being able to get a transfusion or something like that. Okay, so your blood, and I'm reading from the book, your blood type is the key to your body's entire immune system. That's pretty cool, huh? It controls the influence of viruses, bacteria, infections, chemicals, stress, and the entire assortment of invaders and conditions that might compromise your immune system. So in reading this book and in diving in, what he's basically saying is one blood type may be able to do these things to help to stay healthy, whereas the other blood type, it may not be as efficient, okay? We all know that everybody's exercises looks different. Everyone's eating looks different. Everyone handles stress different. So why do we think that everybody has to eat the same thing? That's why if somebody gets on paleo, like we were doing, and doesn't feel well, there may be a reason to it. Or if they go on a vegan diet and they don't feel well, maybe this is why. Or if they do Trim Healthy Mama. I did that. Trim Healthy Mama. I still think it's a great diet. I stand behind it. But I felt pretty good doing it, except when I ate the meat. And I was eating a lot of dairy. And when I was eating a lot of dairy and eating a lot of meat, because I was doing a lot of S meals, and then when I was doing E meals, I would do like Greek yogurt, I was feeling bad, but I lost weight. Okay? And when Ken did it, he lost a ton of weight, basically because we weren't eating correctly for the way that our bodies were made. I was trying to just do a blank slate for everybody, and it doesn't work that way. Okay? The word immune comes from the Latin immunis, which denotes a city in the Roman Empire that was not required to pay taxes. So that's where it comes from. The immune system works to define self and destroy non-self. Okay, that we know that, right? That makes sense. So your immune system is going to say, okay, yes, you can stay, you can stay, you can stay. And then it's going to say, okay, you don't belong here, you don't belong here, you don't belong here, you got to go. It's kind of like a big invitation-only party that you have inside your body. Everybody that comes in has to go through those bodyguards and say, okay, yes, you can stay. It doesn't look like you're a threat, or you're a threat, you need to be destroyed. This is a critical function because without it, your immune system could attack your own tissues by mistake and allow dangerous organisms access to vital areas of your body. So this is important because if this is not happening, then your body is not safe and you're going to self-destruct. Okay? So let's talk a little bit more about your immune system. So nature has endowed our immune system with a very sophisticated method to determine if a substance in your body is foreign or not. So something that's coming in my body may not be foreign, whereas in Ken's body, it might be foreign. So listen to this. One method involves chemical markers called antigens. I'm sure you've heard this word. These are found in the cells of our body. So every life form, from the simplest virus to humans, have antigens that form as part of a chemical fingerprint. Okay? One of the most powerful antigens in the human body is the one that determines your blood type. So this is how you would find out what your blood type is by testing the antigens. The different blood type antigens are so sensitive that when they're operating effectively, they're our immune system's greatest security system, kind of like I talked about a second ago. When your immune system sizes up a suspicious character, it's going to look for your blood type antigen and bounce it against that. Okay, so it's going to say, all right, does this belong? Does this not belong? So that's what it's going to be looking for to see if it's a friend or a foe. Each blood type possesses a different antigen with its own special chemical structure. Your blood type is named for the blood type antigen that you possess from your red blood cells. So I'm type A. So if you're type A, you have A antigens. If you're type B, you have B antigens. If you're type AB, you have A and B. And if you're type O, you have zero, no antigens. Okay? So I'm not going to go into how these blood types are formed. There's all kinds of different information and lots of long, big words that I am not going to try to sound out right here for you, because it's not relevant how it's there. We all know that there are different blood types. Okay, nobody's debating that. When your blood type antigen senses that a foreign antigen has entered the system, the first thing it does is create an antibody to the antigen. Okay, are these terms sounding familiar to you? These antibodies, specialized chemicals manufactured by the cells of the immune system, are designed to attach to and tag the foreign antigens for destruction. Okay, so imagine them going all throughout your body with those little pricing guns that you, like if you ever worked retail, you have a little pricing gun like at a grocery store, and they're tagging it saying, okay, this one's got to go, this one's got to go, this one's clearance, got to go. Okay? When an antibody encounters the antigen of a microbial interleuper, a reaction called agglutination, not sure how to say that, basically gluing. Okay, that's what it is. The antibody attaches to the viral antigen and makes it very sticky. When the cells, viruses, parasites, and bacteria are glued, they stick together and clump, so it makes it easier for the body to get it out. Okay, it also makes them very slippery. All right. Excuse me, the microbes, back that up. Microbes must rely on their slippery powers of invasion. It's a very powerful defense mechanism. Okay, it's kind of like handcuffing criminals together because it's easier. They're not quite as powerful whenever you do that. Okay, so Dr. Carl, who is a Australian physician and scientist, found that blood types produce antibodies to other blood types. Okay, so if you are a mother and had your blood tested, had your spouse's blood tested, and they wanted to make sure that your blood types didn't go against each other, you maybe had to take shots or something to make sure that the baby was brought to full term. This is an example of that, because some blood types will actually make antibodies to other blood types. Okay, this is part of why some people can exchange blood and some can't. So if you have an A blood type, you carry anti-B antibodies. So type B would be rejected by type A. Type B, it contains anti-A antibodies, so type A would be rejected by type B. Okay, type AB carries no antibodies. It's the universal receiver. It would be accepted by any blood type, but because it carries both A and B antigens, it'd be rejected by other blood types. Okay, and then type O carries anti-A, anti-B antibodies. So that means type A, and AB would all be rejected. Okay, type O cannot be received by any other blood type but type O. Okay, I hope this is making sense. Just about done. Okay, there's so much more to this story, to this gluing story where they're taking these things and getting it out the body. It was also found that many foods glue the cells of certain blood types in a similar way. Okay, so this study that Dr. Adamo did, and actually his father before him did, is basically saying that certain foods react the same way in our body. Okay, so it could be rejected by some and not by others. Lectins is actually the diet connection. I'm going to wrap this up because it's already a little longer than I meant to. A chemical reaction occurs between your blood and the foods that you eat. We understand that, right? This reaction is part of your genetic inheritance. It's amazing, but it's true that in the late 20th century, your immune and digestive system still maintain a favoritism for foods that your blood type ancestors ate. Yeah, so basically, you know, my mama always ate this way, her mama always ate this way, that kind of thing is basically what they're saying. Okay, many food lectins have characteristics that are close enough to a certain blood type antigen to make it an enemy to another. For example, and I will testify that this is true, milk, like cow's milk, has B-like qualities. So if a person type A, like me, drinks it, his system will immediately start the gluing process in order to reject it. Okay, when I drink milk, it's not good. Okay. Here's an example of how a lectin agglutinates. I'm going to look up how to say that word. Unfortunately, it's going to be too late because this video is already made, but I'm going to learn how to say that word. Let's say that a type A person eats a plate of lima beans. The lima beans are digested in the stomach through the process of acid hydrolysis. However, the lectin protein is resistant to acid hydrolysis. It doesn't get digested but stays intact. It may interact directly with the lining of the stomach or intestinal tract, or it may get absorbed into your bloodstream along with digested lima beans nutrients. Different lectins target different organs and body systems. You know, people say, eat this for your heart, eat this for your liver, eat this for whatever. That's kind of what they're talking about here. Once the intact lectin protein settles someplace in your body, it literally has a magnetic effect on the cells in that region. It clumps the cells together and they're targeted for destruction as if they too were foreign invaders. This clumping can cause irritable bowel syndrome in the intestines, cirrhosis in the liver, or block the flow of blood through the kidneys, just to name a few. Okay? And I think that's all that I'm talking about for blood type today. But basically, I just wanted to give you a little understanding of what I'm going to be talking about for the month of August, is that your body will react with certain foods in one way to where someone else wouldn't. Okay, so I'm type A. My husband, Ken, is type O. So these are pretty close to opposites, all right? Whereas it says that he could have some animal proteins. Mine is basically like a vegetarian diet. So we're still working on all these things. I'm still getting some more information. So next week, I'm going to be talking about type A, which is mine. I'm going to be talking about how we handle stress, according to the book, okay? How we handle stress, what foods are really good for us, what foods we really should stay away from, and what foods are kind of in the middle, like it really doesn't matter. I'm also going to talk about supplements. For example, if someone's on a vegan diet or someone's on a vegetarian diet, you typically hear people say, get on a vitamin B12 supplement. Basically, it's because of the chemical makeup of our body. We don't really make it all that much, and we don't really digest it, get it into our bodies that well. Okay, so I take a B12 supplement. And I understand, guys, this is not necessarily true for every single person with type A blood. I'm just giving you an overview. I'm just giving you the facts from this book based on their research. The cool thing about it is, if you do get this book, or you decide that you want to try this according to your blood type for 2 weeks, just for 2 weeks to see if you like it. The cool thing about it is you can pick and choose. Okay, you know, I did notice that eating cashews for type O and type A actually did kind of irritate my stomach, or I felt sleepy, or I felt like, you know, my ring was a little bit tighter from inflammation, that kind of stuff. Then you can pinpoint what it is that is stalling your weight loss, or is that keeping you from being energetic, any of those kinds of things. So although you may not take this as a whole and use this as a Bible, as you would say, you know, to guide you, let's just say here are some general guidelines that you can look at and test them out and see how they work with your own chemical makeup. God made us all different. Our fingerprints are different. Our chemical makeups are different. So these are just some general things that are the same that you can incorporate and see how you feel. So if you want to take this Eat Right for Your Type challenge with me, I'm going to challenge you for 2 weeks to eat right for your type. Okay, so you can either start next week, if you've already gotten groceries for this week, or you can start the week after. Sometime in the month of August, I'd like for you to try this for 2 weeks and see if you feel better. If you don't, then, you know, we can look at it again and see what else we can do. But I have felt better with eating right for my type. So, and I'm still continuously tweaking this until I get it right. All right, so if you want to take the challenge, send me a private message and let me know. And I will see you next week. Make sure to find us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, also on our website, fullandpurpose.com. I have 21 days of prayer going right now that's posting every single day that I have on the site. So if that's something that you want to follow, I would love for you to join me with that, and prayer for your family, prayer for your business. So until next time, next week, we'll be talking about type A blood type, what supplements you should take, what kind of exercise is most beneficial for you, how you handle stress, and foods that are really going to help. So I hope this has been helpful and fun for you. I love you guys, and I will see you next week.